right, children, welcome to what the fuck just happened? All right. I tried to go full screen, but it did not work because I am an idiot. All right. So here we go. Um, the name of this micro series is What Do You Do When You Have Three Oil Fields? So I just want to show you what life is like. I've got three oil fields, including the middle oil field here of Baghdad. And what do you do? What do you do? You know? And the reason I say this is that I've done it poorly in the past. Um, and I almost did it poorly this time. So I had about half this stack here. I had about 145 infantry, maybe, 15 artillery, and some tanks, and they were all down here, and I was about ready to attack into British Canada here and take a fourth. Well, let me tell you, when you take the fourth in this game mode, because in this game mode there's only 7 oil fields, so when you take the fourth, a little countdown clock appears on the upper right hand screen of every player remaining in the game. And you know I've been on the losing side of that, and you just send everything you have. Everything you have. It doesn't even matter. You're not playing defensively anymore. You just attack with everything you have against whoever is winning with the 4 oil fields. So it's a really interesting story here. So all right, I'm facing off against British Canada. I want to take his oil field, and then I see over here, goddamn British Canada has another oil field, but it's protected. If you can see here, it's protected by British East Africa, who is a major player. Look at this. He's got a lot of clout here, and he has 2 oil fields. This one, full oil field, and this one. So he's got 2 oil fields, and he's also somehow blocking me from getting to this one, and he's not blocking me from getting to this one. So anyway, so we have British East Africa and British Canada. So let's try to distinguish those real quick. British East Africa, okay, let's just call it Africa. He's a serious player, and he's up in the points. You can see here, I'm in first place, but he's right behind me here. Serious player. Canada, okay, let's just call it Canada, because I don't even know what British Canada is. But Canada has 2 oil fields, but look at this. He doesn't even have all of this. Like 3 of these out of the 5 Africa has. So Canada, and over here it's not even complete here. So Canada is kind of like a bit of a redheaded stepchild. So anyway, I had gotten, like I mentioned, about 200 guys down here, and maybe 15 artillery, and I was going to attack into here to take my fourth. And here's where I reached out to Africa, because as I mentioned, he was kind of blocking me. And so earlier in the game, when I noticed he was the first most challenging player, I said, "You want a non-aggression pact?" And he was like, "I don't think so." And the best way to enforce a non-aggression pact is to get the share map, because then you can tell that neither of you are, massing troops along the border. And he was like, "Nope, nope, nope." And I was like, "Cool, I get it." And then finally, here's where it kind of gets into what we're talking about here. I was like, "Are you interested in moving against British Canada? If we go together, you can take his island." So here's what I was offering him. I was like, "Dude, you take this, take that, and I, on the other hand, will be able to eliminate a threat, which, let me just tell you secretly, I had an army poised here. I was ready to take on, this is Canada too. I was going to take his oil field. So big respect to British East Africa, because he was like, nope. So, yeah, so here we go. I need to stop you from taking the fourth oil field, or everyone will lose except you, which is true. British Canada can wait. So he's right. He's right. It looks like you are eyeing British Canada's other oil field. So he's done his homework. He's done his research. He can tell that I have an army poised there, and I was ready. I was ready to take it. And then so I'm like, no, I've played this game before. I know when I get a fourth, everyone attacks. I'm not nearly ready for that. What I'm offering you is the chance to take a third oil field, which it would have been his third, and be ready to challenge me when I make my bid. Right now, British Canada is threatening my middle oil field. You are too, but I know I can't attack you. I'm trying to play the numbers here. So again, trying to play it off like, hey, British Canada's threatening my oil field, when clearly British East Africa is way more of a threat. He's right there on my perimeter. Not only that, he's all the way down to here. He's like all the way down into my flank, which is super scary. But I'm trying to make it sound like, I can't attack you because you're too important. Let's kill this guy. And then he, so it was pretty good though, this guy. So he goes, I also played and won this game and know that you are the big threat here. To take Baghdad so quickly was impressive. I know you would need to rebuild after that struggle. And so he's pointing out this point that I took Baghdad, which is, it's 9 territories. And you do have to rebuild. It is a struggle. And so he was pointing out the idea that, like, basically I was trying to get him to engage in war with Canada here, so that, and I would attack Canada too. But the idea really being that I don't have to worry about him as an adversary as much, because it's just really hard to fight a 2-front war. So basically he saw through my BS. So I was proud of him. Good for you, buddy. And I told him that. I was like, all right. So I said, well reasoned. You have my respect, my friend. You are not to be manipulated, and for that I tip my hat. But also it sucks for me, haha. And so he said, right now you have the advantage. Good luck. You have respect. So here's the funny thing, though. Here's what I wanted to point out to you, is that if he had just said, yeah, okay, let's attack Canada, and then attacked me, or, not attacked Canada, I probably would have went ahead and attacked into the fourth and maybe lost Baghdad, because look at him. He's, I don't know what's around here, but it's got to be ugly. There's going to be a lot of shit stacked up here. Look at this. Look at Black Cloud. Look at him. That's all of this territory, 2 oil fields, and all of this territory, so he's got a lot of resources. And I think a lot of it might be positioned here. I've been thinking this too, because if I was him, I'd be thinking about attacking a back oil field, an oil field that's not front and center. So anyway, as soon as we had that exchange, I turned this army around that was here and marched it back. And I thought, you know what? He's right. I just need to solidify. And you can see here as we move around, I've got 4-level factory, 2-level factory with a 3 is growing, 3-level factory with, I'm still growing this. So this is not fully developed yet. Baghdad is not fully developed. And I've got a nice little outpost here that I'm liking with, 3 artillery and decent infantry and, level 2 fortress, which, by the way, let's just build that up to 1 more level. So it was a wake-up call. I really appreciated him. I was like, all right, I'm trying to play these angles here and get it to where I can win real quick, but The fact is, so here's my thinking. This oil field and this oil field are fully developed. That means level 4 factories and railroads and airfields on every territory. So that's done, you know. But this one is not. My Baghdad is not fully developed. And so why rush in? Why rush things? Especially since in this game, I have the most advantage. You go back to your leadership points, you can see 238 to the next closest person is 161, which is, pretty far behind. I mean, but what that means is that these points the reward points have to do with production and how many territories you have and so forth. So I have that advantage. And really, so time is on my side, right? Like the longer things go on, the better off I am. And I'm also letting, you can see I'm letting infantry accrue in the individual territories, because everywhere you do that, it helps your morale. So let's just look at my morale. So as a nation, my morale is 89%. That's pretty good. My average morale is almost 90%. So that's really good. All right. Last thing we're going to do before we leave is just look at each territory. So here's my home, so-called home territory, because here's my home zone. So what do I have here? 251 infantry and 17 artillery, and a few excess other stuff. Now I've got a beefy little front here towards, angling towards where I feel the threat coming from, which is that, that northwest. So really, I've got 350 infantry and 31 artillery between these two groups. And then here's another 3 more artillery over here. And then I've got another, 7 down here. So that's ridiculous. Like I've got a lot of power here. And here's what I'm thinking. When I finally take that 4th, I need to have really beefy defenses. So we look at this. Once I move that other stack back to here, look at that. That's ridiculous. And here's where I have my fighter army. It's my defensive army here. And then, if you look at this, 30 artillery, but then here's 3 more. So, call that 32. 2 more, call that 34, 36, 38, 40 artillery, and then I don't know how many infantry, and then the Air Force too. That's really important, because at this stage in the game, the Air Force can be, everything. And then let's not forget our little outpost over here, our friendly little, happy little outpost. And then finally, come back over here. This is where I was feeling vulnerable a little bit, because I saw this. And, early on, he refused to share a map with me, and I was like, okay, that means some stuff is happening here. So I've got a little outpost here, which is, not great, but it's about to be a level 4 fortress, and 3 cannon there, and they're just kind of like there, looking at things. And then I've got 30 guys here, which is nothing really. But then here, oh, I told you, Air Force, man, Air Force. 26 bombers, and I believe at this point I have another maybe 6 bombers growing elsewhere in my empire, and they'll fly there too. So that's going to be my approach, is if somebody gets in the water, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them while they're vulnerable in the water. So it's going to be great. Everyone will love it, including myself. All right, guys. So that is sort of my take on, when you're on top of the world, what to do. Take your time, take it easy, and build up defenses before you're sending out that 4th oil field invasion army. All right, boys. See you next time. Adios.